What's up? Welcome back, retirees and future retirees. I am tired. It is finals week here at school, and I told myself that I need to make these videos at least once a week on Wednesdays and then release on Thursdays. So, fingers crossed I get this done. Now, the topic for today is the most important investment, and it's not money. All right? Now, the general idea of this video is for you to invest in people. And this is in kind of a particular order, but the last one is the most important person you have to invest in. So you want to sit for that. First things first, I invest in my daughter. Why? Because my daughter brings me joy. I've taken her to multiple places with just me and her, daddy and daughter time. I've taken her on a Northern California road trip to Yosemite National Park, and then we went to Napa Valley to visit my friend, and then we went to San Francisco and walked Chinatown, and my daughter was so happy to eat food. It's like,
You can have this.
Yay!
What is this? What is this?
Sesame ball! Thank you, Daddy! Thank you, Daddy! You're the best!
I am?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah?
I don't know.
Give me one,
she's pretty simple. She's like me. We're happy with just having food. And the fact that I invest that time in my daughter is going to pay me dividends when I'm older because I want to make sure that the investment of time that I make into raising my daughter is going to create a wonderful human being who later on in life will hopefully want to take care of me. Um, my daughter and I have a very loving relationship. We enjoy spending time with each other. Sometimes there's bickering, me and her, at the same time. But for the most part, I love my daughter. I love spending time with her, and I'm investing that time into her now so that way later on we have a solid foundation for our relationship. The next investment in a person is my wife. So my wife and I had a rough patch these past few years because we are new parents. We're figuring it out. Um, if you're married, leave in the comments down below. You know how it goes when you have competing ideas and you're trying to figure out what is actually best for your child. But the idea of investing in my wife is I get this from my therapist all the time. I don't have him anymore, but he's always asking me, are you spending enough time with your wife? And I'm like, I don't, because I'm either working or I'm hanging out with my daughter, but I'm not putting in the time to hang out with my wife the way I used to because it's just work, 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 work. And it gets in the way of just like, I gotta make time. But at the end of the day, it's the same thing as investing time in my daughter. That this investment is very important because this is someone I'm going to be living the rest of my life with. That's the goal, and I hope that it's going to be because I love my wife very much. I just want to make her happy, and I just want to see her happy. And yeah, that is the reason why it is important to invest in your spouse or your significant other uh, who actually reciprocates that back to you. So that's the second thing you should invest in is someone important in your life that you share that type of camaraderie with. All right. And then the third thing is to invest in family or family because there are chosen people in your life who are basically family, just not blood related. And luckily for me, I have a loving family. We were always fighting at first when we were younger, but when we separated in terms of when we got older, we moved out and we had that space to give each other that distance. Our relationship grew stronger, and I'm very lucky to have two awesome sisters and my brother. he he keeps his hair long, so we call him my third sister. But that's the kind of relationship that I have with my family. Is we're always goofing off with each other now, and there's still a little bit of bickering here and there, but it's not to the point where like I hate my family, and it's sad when I hear people say that about their family members. And so I just feel very blessed in that sense that I do make time to take out my niece and nephew. I do make time to hang out with my sisters and maybe talk a little finance with them, talk a little bit about life with them, and planning for their kids' future and stuff like that. So yeah, and my brother, he's expecting, um, and I'm just excited to have a family that has my back and I have theirs. So it's important that you invest that time into your family. And also, I have my best friend. I remember sending him a text, not a text, a message through Instagram, and it was like listing the top things you need in life. And I think it was like number 8 or something. And it said, "Your best friend is all the therapy you need." And so I sent him that and I say, "Yo, number 8." And he's like, "Facts." So he's a dad too, and he has 2 boys, and they're all running around like crazy because they're the young ones, they're toddlers, and I I can see it in him, and his wife is just like, oh, it's so draining, but there's also that joy, because they invest in their kids, and I invest in my time to hang out with my bestie whenever I get a chance because, like that message says, um, your best friend is all the therapy that you need. It is very important that you have at least that one person in your life outside of your family. But if it's your family, that's even awesome, more awesome, if anything. But yeah, I have a good mixed bag of everything. So I feel very blessed and fortunate to have a lot of things going right in my life. And yeah, the next thing and the last, oh, the next thing is the fourth one. The fourth thing you should invest in, at least for me, and for you, you might find somebody whom you can mentor. For me, it's I invest in my students because they are the future who's going to be taking care of me when I'm older. Let that sink in for a little bit because think about it. Who is going to take care of you when you're old? If you're lucky, your kids, if you're lucky. But a lot of us will depend on other people whom we don't know. And a lot of people ask me this, like, why do you teach? Like, sometimes you bicker so much about your students. It's because I want the best for them, and it's not like I dislike my students. Like, I love my students, even the ones that annoy me. I love them. Why? Because they challenge me to be better. They challenge me to grow as a person. They challenge me to be more understanding. They challenge me to be more compassionate. Um, there are lazy ones. I'm not gonna lie. Let's keep it real. All right, there's some lazy ones. But there are ones who actually do really need your help and they just need a little bit of love or a little bit more love than the other ones because they need that support, right? So I invest my time in my students because they are going to be the ones taking care of me when I'm old. And they are going to be the ones teaching my daughter when she's older, right? So I am securing my better retirement by doing this, investing into my students. Like this weekend, I'm taking them to do landscape and astrophotography at Joshua Tree, and I can't find any better way aside spending time with my wife and my daughter, obviously my family. But you got to make time for like you're investing your time. You got to diversify, right? Like what they say. You can't just invest your time into your family only. There are a lot of things that a lot of people who you can invest your time in that's worthwhile. And these students, they help my world go around. They help me be a better person.
I ended up meeting a Cambodian guy named Tu Win Hang. He had this boxing class that he would run on Thursday nights. I was doing a back kick and Tu Win was trying to correct me. He came from a Taekwondo background, so he saw my kicks and he was giving me some pointers. My dad talked to him more. He said he was teaching boxing and my dad always wanted to learn boxing. So me and my dad started training boxing under Tu Win. For about 2.5 years, we did boxing. He also taught us kunkumai kickboxing. Tu Win taught us for free for 2.5 years out of the goodness of his heart. He's an amazing guy. Everyone knew him as Coach Tu Win. I used to always watch his demo reel because he's another example of a very versatile martial artist. Excellent Taekwondo skills, competed and was just a beast. Excellent boxing skills, excellent kickboxing skills, but also was an acrobat. He had good gymnastics, he had trained wushu, he even did some ballet. He was just so versatile and so technical, really made an impact on me as a martial artist. And his style of teaching was very interesting. Coach Tuwin was all about fundamentals and technique. He didn't really push us too much cardio or conditioning wise. He believed we needed to do that on our own. He just wanted us to know the basics and to master the basics. So I got extremely good at boxing basics from him, and I'm very grateful. And Tuwin is family to me now. I call him my uncle. I teach kickboxing now, and I had him come to my class. I love that guy to death. I know he's watching, so I love you, Tuwin.
They help me to become happier because I see that joy and I see the light bulb that goes off in their brain when they learn something new or they mature a little bit because I give them some life advice and they just go, oh, okay, yeah, I didn't think of it that way. I didn't know I was behaving like that. So it is, it brings me joy to invest my time in my students. Not everything that you invest your time into is going to bring you joy because sometimes, they're just hiccups, right? Think of them as hiccups, not downfalls, because a lot of people, it's the end of the world and something bad happens, right? So yeah, it's important to invest in someone you can mentor, not just for me, it's my students, and I really enjoy that. So I'm gonna move on to the last one, the fifth person that you need to invest in. And the fifth person that you need to invest in is yourself. You are the most important person you need to invest in the most. Now, I have three reasons why you should invest in yourself, okay? And I did this. So, when I was younger and I moved here from another country, my parents couldn't help me do my homework and they couldn't help me spell the word necklace. They're like, I know what it's in our language, but I don't know English. At the age of about 6 or 7, I knew I was on my own in the educational realm because my parents could not help me. So, what did I do? I invest my time into helping myself more than just, playing around because I knew that education was the only thing that's going to get me out of where I was because I grew up really poor. Grew up in the ghetto, grew up in gang-infested neighborhoods, and getting a held to gunpoint for my $1 watch. So that's a that's a lot of stuff that I had to deal with. So yeah, I grew up pretty bad in a bad neighborhood, and so I went to now. Fast forward a few years, I'm in high school, and I had to make a decision to go to college because I want to be a teacher, and I knew I was going to be a teacher since I was in 8th grade. And so I've been working towards that in my high school career to get to college because you have to go to college to be a teacher. So what I did was I went to a non-brand name school because I did not want to come out of school with debt. I'm 43, and this was in the early mid 2000s when I was going to college. And a lot of my friends, they went to UCLA and UCI and UC Irvine and UC Berkeley and all these UCs, right? And I'm like, Cal State Long Beach. Why? Because I love Long Beach. I think it's one of the best schools to go to. And a lot of people are like, I don't want to live near my parents. I'm like, okay, that's fine, but I'm a poor kid. I went to Long Beach State. They actually gave me money to go to school. I won a few scholarships and gave me more money to go to school. And I invested that money, that extra money, Pell Grants, scholarship money, EOP grants. I invested that money in myself because I did not go out. I did not spend it at the bar and such. I literally bought computers with that money because I invested that into my education, and I knew that I'm gonna make it. Okay, I have that belief in myself that I'm gonna make it, and I'm gonna not gonna waste money, and I'm not gonna go into debt, and I'm not going to brand name school because I don't want to go into debt coming out. Debt free is very fulfilling, very fulfilling. So I got lucky. And then also, when I got my first job, and that's when I moved out, I literally lived with my parents throughout college till I was 25. And that's when I moved out for the first time into my 2-bedroom apartment with my friends living upstairs, and I was living downstairs in the duplex, triplex, or whatever it was. And it was cool. I lived with my friends. I had my own place. I was dating my wife at the time. and my life started. And it was awesome because I had no debt. And I started my teaching career. And after 3 years of teaching, you know, my girlfriend and I, now my wife, we got married, and she found a master's program for me to do, and I invested $30,000 in around 2009, 2010 into myself to get a master's degree, and that jumped my pay raise by $10,000 a year. And so I'm in my 19th year of teaching right now. You know what that does to someone's bank account? A lot. And I'm glad that my wife found the perfect master's program for me, because that got me to be more financially stable and even way ahead of the curve, because we both are teachers and we both have master's degrees. So we maxed out on our pay scale at the schools we work at, or at the district we work at. So yes, very fortunate. And I'm glad I put in the work, because I was going to school full time and teach full time. Oh my goodness, let me tell you, those sleepless nights. But like I said, the most important person you should invest in is yourself. So that was number two. Number three, why you should invest in yourself is so there was a time when I did almost quit teaching. Uh, I was not in agreement with where we were heading in the way we were teaching math, because that's what I got my degree in, is math education. And I got my master's in education, media design, and technology. And so, luckily for me, I invested in buying camera equipment, starting my own business. And then somehow it worked out where I was able to write off the hours that I worked to apply for a new teaching credential, which is a Career Tech Ed credential in arts, media design, arts, media, and entertainment. And now I teach filmmaking and photography, and I teach fun stuff. And math was fun for me, and I try to make it enjoyable for my students. I literally dance, sing, and do backflips and everything. And I still couldn't get them to turn on to math the way I'm like excited about math. And so I knew then and there, after a few years of just literally giving it my all, I literally gave 10 years teaching math, and I did not make much of a difference in student performance. And I literally tried everything. All right, I literally tried everything. Who does backflips in their class? All right, tell me. So luckily, I invested in starting a business, got a new credential, and now I teach this stuff, and I love it. So I am very fortunate and lucky um, to invest in myself, right? So I learned photography and filmmaking through running my own business, and now I teach it, and now I'm investing in my students. And then I have more free time for my wife, my daughter, my family, my best friend, right? So sometimes it's not about you feeling life is unfair, because I have had that happen to me before, where I felt life was unfair, but I never quit, and I invested in myself continually, and in some of those other areas too. But the most important person that you can invest in is yourself. All right? I have more stories, but I'm trying to keep it short, or else I can sit here and talk forever, forever, ever. It's already been 16 minutes, 17 minutes, and the battery's running out. So we're gonna say goodbye. Um, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and do all that YouTube stuff. And we're gonna say goodbye with rock, paper, peace. Let's hang out again in the next retirement planning video. Invest in yourself. Okay.